Weather is an essential element in understanding fire behavior at wildland fires. Temperature, relative humidity, and wind will serve as major factors when it comes to determining how your fire is going to behave. Our ability to determine what the fire is doing, and importantly where it's trending, can greatly enhance our ability to prepare for the expected fire behavior. In the command bag taken along during Type 1 engine mobilizations, you'll find a weather pouch. Inside this pouch are a variety of supplies and devices intended to allow you to determine weather conditions and record them at a wildland fire incident. The contents of the weather pouch include a weather kit, which is the good old-fashioned way of spinning weather, and a Kestrel weather device, a more modern approach to the same process. You'll find at incidents that some of the more seasoned hands prefer getting their weather the old-fashioned way, and some of them will even insist that you do it that way as well. So as a result, it's important that you understand how to spin weather with a weather kit. The weather kit contains a variety of items, including a spin psychrometer, a wind gauge, and a variety of supporting items that are aimed at allowing you to spin and record the weather. Here are the steps for spinning weather. Remove the spin psychrometer from the kit. Note the dry bulb thermometer and the wet bulb thermometer. Observe the temperature reading on the dry bulb thermometer and record it in the weather log. Now, use the water bottle in the weather kit to moisten the wick on the end of the wet bulb. Once the wick is wet on the wet bulb thermometer, spin the psychrometer quickly for about 20 seconds. Now observe and record the wet bulb temperature on the weather log. Next, utilizing the chart provided in the weather kit, follow to where you determine dry and wet bulb temperatures converge. This space will reveal two numbers. The lower of the two numbers is your relative humidity. Next, take the wind gauge and facing towards the wind, allow wind to enter the two small holes on the back of the gauge. Ensure you aren't blocking them with your hand. Determine where the ball raises to and record that wind speed in the weather log. You've now spun the weather. The dry bulb thermometer gives you the current ambient temperature. The combination of the dry and wet bulb temperatures provides you with relative humidity, and the wind gauge has provided you with the wind speed. At the top of each hour, or as directed, provide a weather report listing time, dry bulb temperature, wet bulb temperature, relative humidity, wind speed and direction, and current witness fire behavior. As a lookout, you're constantly observing fire behavior and weather with a careful eye on wind conditions. At the 2015 Kettle Complex near Barstow, Washington, a Seattle firefighter, Jonas Smith, was assigned to lookout duty. At one point during the fire, he recognized a sudden increase in wind and warned firefighters on the fire line. Within a couple minutes of this warning, fire intensity picked up dramatically, driving firefighters back to their safety zones. The role of lookout at a wildland fire is crucial, and in the case of Jonas Smith, he likely prevented serious injury or even death that hot August day near Barstow. As mentioned earlier, a simpler way of determining weather is use of the Kestrel 3000 device. The following is a brief video on use of the Kestrel 3000.
Let's talk about the features. As you can see, the weather meter is very small, it's compact, and it's easy to use. Once the device has been turned on, there's a display screen which will show an icon to the mode that you're in. Normally it will start in the wind speed. The propeller up the top reads your wind speed setting, so you'll adjust it into the wind to get the most accurate reading. The arrows on either side will step through the current display modes to the additional display modes that it offers. All readings, once you turn it on, will be stored until the device has been turned off. So for instance, to take a weather reading, you can start by reading the wind speed. The device is turned on. Use the arrows to step to make sure that you're in the current display indicating wind speed. Just hold the device into the wind. You can watch for a while till you get an accurate reading, and then you can step forward in the modes to read the rest of the settings, such as the maximum wind speed, the relative humidity, or the temperature. So using a device like this, even on a short-term incident, allows us to get a baseline reading of where our temperature where our humidity, what our wind speeds are when the event begins and as the event progresses. So just a small device like this, we can use that to take our readings, track that during an event, and allows us to plan our strategy and our tactics to have a successful outcome.
Weather's critical to fire behavior. Seeing the trends in temperature, relative humidity, and particularly wind can provide life-saving information on the fire ground, be it at a state mobilization fire or local initial attack right here in Bellevue. Know how to utilize both the Weather Kit and the Kestrel 3000